All right, we are live. Today we are talking with a local entrepreneur who founded a company called LeJeune's Best Seasoning, and his name is Nicholas LeJeune. You probably have not heard about him yet, and if you have been on the internet at all in the past few weeks in the area, you might have seen this random guy on your Facebook feed or your Instagram feed or maybe even TikTok with a random orange beanie showing some seasoning. That is the guy. We got him in the studio today. We're going to be talking with him about that, his start and why he created the company and all of that good stuff. So stick around and enjoy the show. All right, and so before we get too far into getting started and I get too ahead of myself, I want to make sure I get my sponsors mentioned. So the first presenting sponsor that we have is Chase Group Construction. They take the lead and become your one point of contact for the entire design build process. Basically, they build businesses. They build things, and they're a construction company, but they also design it first and make it look good before they build it. Design build firm. Great local company. Chase Landry, super local and super good guy. He wants me to keep the ad short, so I'm trying to keep that in mind. But he's built several different types of businesses around the Acadiana area. You've seen them. I'm pretty sure you've been inside them and probably didn't even know that he built them and designed them. Medical centers, popular restaurants, multi-unit shopping centers. Check them out at chasegroupconstruction.com. So if you're looking to build something, he's the one you want to go to first. So yeah, check them out, and they're local. All right, so want to thank them for the support. All right, so let's go ahead and get this started. So Nicholas, welcome to the T Podcast.
How's it going, everybody? I want to start by thanking Ben for having me on. I love the Developing Lafayette page. It's an honor to have me on the podcast. A great opportunity.
I appreciate that. I'm glad to have you on.
So I guess I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my background.
Yeah. So, real quick, go ahead and get that mic closer to you so you can so you don't sound too echoey. But, yeah, I want to know a little bit more about you. I got some notes here, obviously, that you sent me, and you're originally a mechanical engineer, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
First of all, that's wild. I've heard that's a difficult industry, a difficult degree to get. Tell me a little bit about who you are, and we'll gradually get into the seasoning business. But just tell me who you are. Obviously, you're a Lafayette native.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Lafayette. I went to high school in Opelousas at Westminster.
Okay, big old Opelousas, huh?
Oh, yeah, Opelousas. My grandfather actually owned a grocery store there, Benny's Supermarket, so I have some Opelousas and Lafayette roots.
Nice.
After high school, I went to UL. I attended UL for mechanical engineering. I finished in 2016 over there. Okay,
so what led you to do mechanical engineering? So you said your dad or your grandfather?
Well, so my grandfather owned
Benny's
grocery store. Yeah.
Yeah. So what did your dad do? Was he in the grocery store business too?
My dad actually owns a hair salon, Lloyd's of Lafayette.
All right. That's cool.
On Johnson Street, yes, sir. And they've just a family of entrepreneurs and hard workers. And I had a passion growing up for math. I like math. I had very good mentors that gave me a good work ethic growing up.
All right.
So I just, the reason that I decided on engineering, though, is because I like math. It was math-based. And I decided to do that. And it was a lot of hard work getting through school, but, all my everything that I learned growing up.
So what do you like about math?
I just like how it's challenging. I was always good at it growing up. A lot of people don't like math, but I actually tutored math shortly after college for a little while. I liked seeing people that like math.
Okay. So my little boy, he's 8 years old, and he loves math. in the car after I pick him up from school, we are always doing math problems, and he's in the back seat asking me to give him, different varying math problems. So typically, most of them are pretty simple. Like just the other day, he was like, "What's 2 plus 2?" I would say 4. He goes, "What's 4 plus 4?" And I would say 8. And he was like, "What's 8 plus 8?" Like it got up there to where it got really challenging at one point to think about all of these different multipliers, because that was what was happening. It was getting larger. The number was growing exponentially, and I was like, "Oh my God." So thankfully he started with 2 plus 2, because what happened was, and this is from, you might know this, is from a computer background with hard drives and, memory storage. Once he got into the 8 plus 8 and, 8 times 8, then what was it? Or what did I say plus? Either way, it went from 8 to 16 to I think it was, I don't know if it was 24 or 56, and it made me think about, like, okay, there was a 16 gig setup. There's a 56 gig modem at one point, and then you go from there, and we got up to like I want to say 64 plus 64, and it's 128, and that's all like hard drive numbers. That's usually the increments, and then 128 goes to 256, and 256 to 512. And so he thought he had me at first, because he was giving me math problems too, and I was like, okay, I'm thinking about all these hard drives. I'm like, I'm just remembering all these multipliers on the hard drives, but I don't mind math. I was not the best math student in high school. Long division killed me. I hated long division. I love having a calculator in my pocket. So, for you, do you rely on a calculator?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I always have my calculator. I pull it out.
You're not just doing all these big problems in your head, are you? Okay.
No, so I like more like the word problems, like the critical thinking of the math, not.
Oh, word problems. Yeah. Okay. So like if train A is going 100 miles an hour and train B is going 24 miles an hour, and they're meeting up at one single destination, there's like all these, I'm going to butcher this word problem, but basically it's like how long or how many miles per hour do each one need to go, or like how many miles do each one need to go to meet to the same destination at the same time. It was like these weird things. I'm like, why do they gotta give us these difficult questions? I'm like, can they just make math simple so that we just move on? And like, look, I like critical thinking, but I was thinking too critically at that point, and my brain would hurt. And I don't know if that's saying a whole lot about me, but just saying. But yeah, like let's keep going a little bit farther with you. So you like math, you decided to pursue mechanical engineering. So beyond liking math, because I don't know if liking math is the prerequisite to just, hey, I like mechanical engineering. Like in high school, what was your thought about what would you do once you got out of high school? So was it mechanical engineering, or did you have like a different idea of what you want to do? And like once you got to college, you realized that was your path. Like how did that look for you?
So actually, in my high school calculus class, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I had a teacher. His name was Aaron Kuhn. He was kind of a mentor to me throughout high school, and actually my soccer coach also. He did mechanical engineering, so he told me a little bit about it, and he kind of got me wanting to do that. He got me interested in it.
Okay.
It said how it could be a great career, which he's right. I have a great career going. I enjoy what I do. I'm actually a mechanical engineer for Lafayette Utility System, and that's where I'm at right now.
Nice.
And it's a very rewarding career. And I thank all my high school teachers. They led me to that decision, and it was a good one.
Yeah. When did you graduate high school?
2012.
Okay. All right. It's crazy. I graduated in 2005, and I used to tell people that, and they were like, oh, you're making me feel old. And now people are graduating after me, and I'm like, I'm starting to feel what that feels like a little bit.
10-year reunion already come and gone.
Dude, I'm about to hit the 20-year reunion. I didn't even go to my 10-year reunion because if any of the friends that I went to school with are watching or listening, they went to it was a bunch of girls that went to some crawfish restaurant in the parish that I came from. And I think we were invited, but looking at all the photos, it was mostly just women, mostly just girls out there. And I'm like, you know what? I guess it was probably best that I did not go. But I don't know what 20 years is going to look like for us, so that'll be interesting. Okay, so you're doing mechanical engineering now. I want to know why are you going into or venturing into seasoning? Because mechanical engineering into this little bottle of, garlic powder, salt, pepper, probably cayenne, probably a different mix of stuff. Why would you go? Why are you venturing? Like, how does a mechanical engineer decide, you know what? I think I want to make a seasoning blend.
So I'll tell you a little bit about that, actually. I told you I liked math growing up, but I also grew up around entrepreneurs. I actually have my MBA that I got from LSU Shreveport. So I've always had an entrepreneurial drive. I've tried a few different things to start up throughout the years. I always wanted, something to start. And like I said, I'll tell you exactly how I came across the seasoning business. Actually, I'm a lifelong UL LSU Saints fan, big football fan. It's one of my big passions. So naturally, I was an LSU fan when they won the national championship in 2019.
Okay.
I followed Joe Burrow into the NFL.
He's with Cincinnati now, right?
Yeah, he's with the Cincinnati Bengals. And the year that they had a Super Bowl run, I was part of a Facebook group called Who Dey Nation. And it became a thing on that Facebook group where a lot of us got together and we sent food from Louisiana to Ohio. And people in Ohio would send food from Ohio to Louisiana so that we could try it for the Super Bowl.
And was it bland? Is that why you started the seasoning?
It was just different. I enjoyed the food. I liked it.
Okay.
But we have Cajun food here, and they have just a different style of food over there.
Yeah.
But
did they send deep dish pizza?
So they sent something called Skyline Chili, different barbecues, some potato chips that are kind of similar to Zapp's, but just a little bit different, different flavor.
Yeah. Okay, so y'all exchanged food.
Yeah, so we exchanged food, and that kind of got bigger and bigger in the group. And someone from the local Ohio news station, Local 12, actually reached out on the page and said, hey, I'd like to get someone and interview them. So I volunteered for that. I reached out to them. They did a Skype interview with me. And I got together a big package of all kind of seasoning, Zapp's, roux, and things like that to send to a person in Ohio. Her name was Billy, and she got a big care package and sent it down to me. We had that interview. Well, that kind of went viral within that Facebook page.
Okay.
And that kind of inspired me to make a traditional Cajun blend, but take just a pinch of that unique Cincinnati culture and throw it in here. So ingredients like cinnamon that aren't traditionally in a seasoning, I played with it in my kitchen, and I was like, this is actually amazing. So that's kind of the basis for how I started everything. And that's why my blend is a little bit unique. It has a little bit of cinnamon in there, just a little, and it makes it has a sweet taste that comes on the end of the food.
Yeah.
It's still a traditional all-purpose Cajun blend.
All right. Very, very interesting. I definitely want to dive in a little bit more on that in just a minute. All right. So you're still doing mechanical engineering, you said at LUS, right?
Yes.
Lafayette Utility Systems. What is your supervisors or anybody that you work with, what do they think about you going into the seasoning business? So
they've all been very supportive. The director, I gave him some of the seasoning. He loved it. He's very appreciative of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've all been very supportive.
All right. Well, look, we're about 15 minutes in. I want to get my next sponsor mentioned here. So you've heard them before, and you're going to hear them again because they are continuously sponsoring well into the future. It's Music Academy of Acadiana. So if you're looking to learn music, definitely check them out. They are nationally recognized. They have tons of students, tons of well-rounded educators, instructors. They're teaching music of all different styles, from piano, guitar, drums, violin, saxophone, flute, the whole nine. They even help you improve your voice. So if you want to start singing, let's say you're not a singer, but maybe you need to be coached, they can help you with that. Or if you're a background type of person, behind the scenes, BTS as they call it, audio production is your game. They teach that there. They have a full recording studio where they record actual local artists that are well known at that studio, and they can teach you and merge you into that program. But yeah, great local company. They've been on The Voice, American Idol, all that good stuff. Founded by UL Lafayette Music School graduate Tim Benson. He's also in an emo cover band called The Criers. They sound just like all the music from the early 2000s, 2010s-ish. So check them out. Their goal is to make music lessons fun, educational, and to help foster the next generation of musicians and creative thinkers. Their website is musicacademyacadiana.com. They're also on Facebook, Instagram, all those places. So another great local company to check out. Okay, so now that we got that in order, what is the deal with the orange beanie?
So in the interview that I did in Local 12, I wore Cincinnati Bengals beanie.
Yeah.
So
the colors are orange and black.
Because that was kind of the inspiration for everything. Connecting two cultures together, and that kind of became my thing. I had this cartoon design based off of me. Number 9 is a big, that's Drew Brees and Joe Burrow. That means a lot to me. I put them in like a Mardi Gras based jersey. And I had to go with the signature orange beanie hat because it stands out. That I wanted something for my branding that people would recognize and look at it and say, hey, I know exactly who that is. That's LeJeune's Best Cajun Seasoning.
Yeah, I'm going to hold the can up to the camera so you can kind of, for those watching, can kind of see it. Give me 1 second here. Am I getting it? There we go. So you can see the beanie and the character there. And there's his logo. I don't know if it was blurry. It was hard to tell. Anyway, if you want to learn more about his seasoning, I can tell you right now, all you got to do is just go to his website, which is LeJeune'sBest.com. And you can also find him on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All the links are in the caption underneath this video on Facebook and YouTube. Or if you want to listen to the audio version, it's on there, Spotify, Apple. But we're going to continue talking with him a little bit more about his branding. So, Nicholas, man, a big question, anytime I see a new seasoning pop up, is the first thing I think about is how do you plan to break into the seasoning market? Everybody has their own seasoning now. We got Hal, the Cajun lady accent in Church Point. You have Brits cooking in the New Iberia area. I think she's from that area. Or Lauraville. I don't know. Just from that area. You have, of course, all staples like Tony Sastry's. You have Slappy Mama, who is a big one from Ville Platte, my stomping grounds. And then we have the Cajun Ninja with Paya. We have tons of seasoning. And there's also a bunch of new ones. Cajun Nation. There's, a plethora of seasonings. What are you going to do, or what are you planning to do to make people know about your brand and why they should try your seasoning?
Well, with seasoning, you kind of have to put it in somebody's mouth. They have to try it. So what I've been doing is a lot of different events, a lot of sampling. So I kind of want to take this as an opportunity right now to just let everyone know in the seasoning industry, there's a lot of people that are there's a lot of people. Competitive is not necessarily the right word. They're very
Right.
supportive of each other. So I've met a lot of people that, even though we're all competing and like I do cook-offs with some of these people that you mentioned, it's more of a friendly competition. Everybody's trying to help each other. A few people that have been mentoring me, Rusty Seasoning, Country Cooking with Joni, Cooking with KP, How the Cajun Lady, Jamie Bazeron, Captain Kobe.
And they all have their own seasonings.
And they all have their own seasoning. But like I said, everyone's just so supportive of everyone in this industry.
Yeah.
We all want each other to succeed. Everybody has a great product. Like I said, this is a little bit unique. It's a Cajun blend, but it has just a little bit of cinnamon and chili powder in there. That's what really makes it different. I got second place in the Cameron Crow Sabon Seasoning Festival, so you know it's good.
Yeah. I mean, hey.
Everybody's loved it so far. Like I said, just it's a little bit different, but it's good.
Okay, I'm curious to give it a try. That's for sure. I don't know if I might break the seal in just a second. Try it. To get second place at a seasoning festival, that's a pretty big deal. It's the first. It's the inaugural seasoning fest, Sabon Seasoning Fest in Cameron Crow. Who got number one?
So Rusty's seasoning for every stuff.
Okay.
Right? And as I said, Rusty. I've become good friends with Rusty since I started this. He's been mentoring me, and Rusty's awesome. He has a great product too.
Oh yeah. I actually judged a burger cook-off near downtown, and he was there. And I want to say his burger won or was way up there. So he's got great food. Man, so. What beyond the seasoning, beyond the cinnamon, like how do you, whenever you describe the seasoning to people to get them to try it, like what is your pitch? Like what do you tell people?
One thing that I really stressed when I made this, it took me 2 years to get the formula exactly right, is low sodium. So that's something that I really wanted to make sure that it was low sodium, because a lot of people, as you eat sodium, sodium's just not good for you long term,
Yeah.
So I just tell them, hey, I have a really, really great Cajun blend. It's low sodium. It's a little bit different. Just a little pinch of cinnamon that adds the perfect amount of sweet to it. It's got some spice to it because it does have cayenne in it. But I really just tell them they got to try it, and everyone that's tried it has loved it. So
yeah. So before you had your own seasoning, what was the seasoning in your cabinet?
Probably Tony's, Slap Your Mama.
All the normal staples.
All the normal seasoning. And now that I've got into this, I've found out, like I said, a lot of the new friends that I have, they all have just amazing products. I've been trying different things. And
yeah. So, look, man, with Tony's, I love Tony's. I love the company. I think it's a great thing. It's kind of like, it's in that same level of products as Tabasco. It's a great product, great local company, but it's gotten so, in my opinion, this is an opinion, okay, stressing opinion. I feel like it's gotten so big that it's almost, not to say watered down. I don't want to say watered down because it's not, but I feel like there are so many other products outside of the Tony's brands and the Tabasco brands, and I feel like we have so many other seasonings now that are coming up. One example, of course, is yours, that really add another layer, another dimension to seasonings, and I might catch heat for this, but I don't know, maybe not. I tell people whenever they're out of town or like if they're not from here and they say, oh yeah, I put Tony's on everything. I'm like, okay, I mean, that's great. That's an entry-level seasoning. Great start. But I always guide them to like, hey, if you want to really change things up and really dial into that Cajun flavor, here's some seasonings. And I'm always recommending different seasonings. And, of course, I always recommend Slap Your Mama because that's a good one. But they're also getting really big. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you have any takes on that, but
I'll just kind of reiterate a little bit what I talked about. Every single person that makes a seasoning, there's always a story behind it. It's a family, you know, a small business.
Yeah.
When you support local small business, you're helping out an actual family. So and like I said, everybody has a great product. A lot of people are starting to make seasonings. They're all very good. And they all have their own story behind them, why they started it.
Yeah.
All have their own little, kind of like mine has a little cinnamon that makes it different. Some people have maybe like K-Fred, he does fish fry. That's really good. Just different things.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's another
they
one.
All bring their
K-Fred,
passion.
man.
Everybody. And Mad Seasoning. They also have they said that they started doing camping. You know, cooking while they camp. Just all things that they bring. A story with them.
Yeah. And then you got another company too. I mean, I'm thinking off the head now of all these different companies. Acadian Kitchens with the Raging Cajun seasoning. They got a great product and they produce it right there. So in that same kind of thought, now that I'm thinking about manufacturing and all that good stuff, because they do that right there in North Lafayette, how challenging was it for you who went into the seasoning business? You said a couple years ago, right?
So I actually
you've been working on this for longer?
2 years. I've been working on it for about 2 years. I started the actual business in September, but it did take 2 to 3 years to get everything ready to go.
So you've been working on this for a while. Like without exposing too much, I mean, I don't know how much you're willing to talk about on the production side and getting started, but like in the vein of supporting people, what would somebody have to do? Let's say I wanted to create a seasoning, and I am not going to try to create a seasoning, and if I do, it'll just be like another seasoning blend that you probably have tasted already, because I don't know what I would add to it to be different. Yours has cinnamon. That is actually pretty different, and I'm curious how that tastes. But what advice would you give someone, let's say a younger you a few years back, that wants to get into the business? What would be 3 things that you would tell them that you had to learn the hard way?
Well, so I guess I'll kind of say a little bit about what I had to do to get where I am.
Yeah.
The first thing, and as I said, I have a background in business. I have my MBA. I learned a lot about something called lean methodology while in my MBA school. So that tells you find something and then take a test, see how people like it, and then proceed. So in my kitchen, I'd make a blend, I'd make a recipe, and I'd have all the friends, family, other people try it. Maybe they'd give a little bit of advice on what to change, and I went through iterations of that. So the first thing is you got to get your recipe if you want to start a seasoning business. After that, you got to come up with your branding, come up with your logos,
right.
Something, like I said, the orange hat, something that's going to stick, something that people recognize. Get all your social media set up and everything. After that, you have to find a manufacturer. There's a few of them in Louisiana that do it. You get the recipe and they'll you make sure that the way they make it is tastes properly. There's some things that you have to do, like health permits and things like that through the Louisiana Department of Health. Finding the proper place to store it, and then it's really just taking a risk and going out and starting your own thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot that goes into it, from recipe in your kitchen to actually putting it on the store. And then after that, you really just have to, I guess you got to hustle. You got to go to the stores, try to put it in there. You have to put it in people's hands, let them try it. And seasoning it takes a little time to grow a business. But
it takes it. Look, that's with any business, honestly. Okay. So going back to developing a recipe, I think that's the part where I feel like could be the most challenging. So for me, if I wanted to start whipping up a seasoning blend, do I just go to my kitchen and grab all the different seasonings that I have and just start dumping them into a bowl, mixing them up and tasting it? Like, are you measuring, like, obviously you need a measure to build a recipe, but like, how do you know where to start? Like, do you start with salt? Do you start with pepper? Do you start with, what is your base? Like, how do you build up a recipe of a seasoning? I've always wondered that. So I feel like there's so many seasonings, and so many of them have different profiles. But like, how do you go from, I want to create a seasoning, to, okay, I don't know how to create a seasoning, but I want to. Like, how do you build up on that recipe? What do you start with?
So a lot of traditional Cajun seasonings, the basis for it is you have to have some cayenne pepper, some garlic powder, onion powder, or granulated garlic and onion. Typically, that's kind of what you want to start with, and then I wanted to take a little bit of Cincinnati's culture, and just see how it tasted. And when I was in the kitchen trying that, I was like, this is awesome. Like, it was just different, but to me, like, it was amazing. And I tried it on different foods. I did a lot of barbecue, and it's good on steak, great on a pork steak. I've cooked jambalayas, gumbos with it. And like I said, it was really just trying something, having your friends try it. They'll kind of say, okay, I think it needs a little bit of this or that, and then that's kind of how I did it. Everybody does it differently, though. Some people have had I've met people at some of these events where it's their grandfather and they wanted to carry on his tradition, or their grandmother.
Right.
It's like I said, everybody has their own story. It's really just about what goes into that bottle and on the shelf.
Yeah. So we have a couple of comments that came through just a few minutes ago. So one is Brad Ridge. I don't know if you know what Brad Ridge, but Brad Ridge comments and says, now it's Cajun all-purpose seasoning. And this comment kind of came through when we were talking about all the different seasonings out there, and like the big guys and all that good stuff. So there are, Cajun all-purpose. And I don't, maybe you'll have knowledge. What is all-purpose seasoning versus, your seasoning? What is the main difference in that?
All-purpose is like you can use it in everything, and sometimes someone will make like a specialty blend, like a barbecue rub. That's typically good on like a certain food. So all-purpose is more for everything.
But like in general, the recipe for all-purpose would be considered what? Like, what is the baseline?
It just if it's good on everything, I'd consider that an all-purpose.
Would you consider yours good on everything?
Yes, I would.
So, but yours is not all-purpose, is it?
Yeah, it's an all-purpose Cajun seasoning.
Okay, all right, yeah. I guess usually whenever it says all-purpose, they put big letters all-purpose, but you can use it on everything. Every seasoning I have in my cabinet, I use on just about everything. I don't care if it says all-purpose. I don't care if it says steak. If I think it smells good and tastes good, I'm putting it on whatever I'm eating.
Yeah, that's I didn't put it on the label, but like when I marketed it, it is an all-purpose Cajun seasoning. As I've said, the feedback, everybody's loved everything that they've put it in.
Yeah. And I think the cinnamon factor just throws it for a loop.
So it doesn't. So it's not like an overpowering.
No,
cinnamon
I didn't think so. Yeah,
it's just enough to where it makes it. You really can't tell, but it's there. It has a little sweet, just at the end of the food, not throughout.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I'm so curious with it. Another comment, Daisy Kern. Hey, Daisy, she owns Daisy, I'm going to blank out for a second, but she has a mushroom company. She does like the farmer's market at Monkus Park. Oh my God, Daisy, forgive me. I'm going to have to, oh my God, all caps. Yeah, that's what it's called, all caps. I got it. Okay. There's probably a tagline in there. But anyway, so Daisy says, seasoning is a fun sell. Gotta try it to make them fall in love. Like, just like you said, you got to get it into people's mouths. Really,
the only way is if they try it. I do a little bit of social media, kind of like becoming a social media influencer. Yeah. I do cooking videos with my grandmother, with different people. That'll help people get awareness of it, but really, they have to try it. And once they try it, they always love this product. But yeah, Daisy just commented, said all caps. Thank you, Daisy, and I'm glad you're still listening.
So yeah, you mentioning getting it out there and getting people to know about it, the whole marketing side of it. Going back to you being a mechanical engineer, I think it's amazing because I feel like a mechanical engineer is someone who stays behind a locked door in an office, behind a computer screen, crunching numbers, drawing whatever drawings they got to draw, and they go home and go to sleep, go back and do that. And I never think about a mechanical engineer being someone who creates a vibrant seasoning and has to market it, because that's a whole different beast of profession and understanding and a thought process besides being a mechanical engineer. Unless you think it's similar, like you tell me, what has been the challenges?
Growing up, math was one of my passions, but it was also a business. I was always creative, always making in the garage, making a cardboard box, playhouse or whatever. Just
did you have a lemonade stand?
I had many lemonade stands. I used to make $100 on the weekend when I was 5 years old with
Good Lord.
hustling as a lemonade stand out in front of my dad's hair salon. Just like I said, I've just always been an entrepreneur and growing up. I am an engineer by trade, but I'm also a business person and an entrepreneur. And, I like marketing. I did a lot of marketing classes in my MBA studies. That my specialization is in marketing.
I figured, going back, now you bringing that back up.
And I do want to say, though, where engineering ties in with this is in September, I got my professional engineering license.
Okay.
So this is officially professionally engineered.
Does it have a label on there?
No, that's just something I say. It's professionally engineered because it's made by a professional engineer. So
dude,
it's good if it's professionally engineered.
You got to make a label. You got to put a graphic on there that says professionally engineered. I think
that's a good point. I may have to add that to the label.
I think that'd be great to put, because that would further give you another marketing angle.
And that's kind of like I say, all these cans that everybody has, they all have a story behind them. It's somebody put their passion into this. This is not just seasoning in here. This is, football, my passion. Everything, a lot goes into it.
Yeah.
That would be something very good to add.
I won't take credit for that.
Engineered.
You definitely have that claim. All right, so you had a lot of interesting social media things that I've seen. So one, right off the bat on your Instagram, your TikTok, your Facebook, you can see it in the caption. If you go to my caption, you can go to his social media accounts. So I'm looking at it, and you have a photo with Drew Brees. When did that happen, and how did you make that happen?
Yeah, so a few weekends ago, Drew Brees came to LeJeune's, and he's always been one of my heroes growing up. He actually got me into football. That's why I became a fan, following him growing up. And like I said, the number 9 on here represents Drew Brees. Yeah. It represents Joe Burrow. It just means, my number would be 9 if I played football. Because
was Joe Burrow's number 9?
Yeah, Joe Burrow's number was 9 as well. That's why I say this number 9 represents so much to me, so much to Louisiana.
I guess I should have known Joe Burrow.
When I saw that Drew was coming to LeJeune's, I was like, I have to meet him. And I wanted to give him a can of this because he's part of the inspiration behind this. Yeah, so that's where that came about.
So you gave him a can of it?
I did give him a can, and I also got to give a can to Chris Olave. So that was a.
Now I'm gonna sound like the most lame person to ask this, but who is that?
So that's a he's the receiver on the Saints right now.
All right, I figured. Look, I wish I was a bigger sports guy. I like the Super Bowl for the commercials, for the marketing aspect, for the energy, for the food. The game is the lowest part on the totem pole for me. And I've had people try to talk sports with me, and I'm like, I'm listening, but it's just going whoop. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I appreciate you having a love for football and that you actually get to meet Drew Brees. I think Drew Brees is great because not only is he a football player who got the Saints into a Super Bowl victory, they did have a victory, right?
Yeah,
yes, in 2009, yes. I was like, wait, did they get the victory? I know they went to the Super Bowl. Anyway, they got the victory. And I was super excited to watch it at that point. But after that, I watched it probably a couple of years after that because the energy was still there for me. But now it's like watching the Saints, watching any football, just, it's on.
See, and I love football. As I said, I'm a really big UL Cajun fan, of course. I'm an alumni there. I'm a huge LSU fan as well. But I still watch my football on the weekends, but I got to handle the season business now, too. So sometimes
you got a baby
on
to
the
take
radio
care
in
of.
the truck now. But
So are you married?
no, I am not.
Okay. All right. So this is your baby.
Yeah, this right here is my baby.
Yeah. You got to cradle this thing. You got to change its diapers when it craps. you gotta take care of it. What has been some of the challenges you've had since launching your seasoning blend? Like, what is the two biggest things that you've hurdled on?
Really, just finding the time to do everything. Tomorrow, I'm going to 6 a.m. I'm going to a cook-off event in Baton Rouge, social media influencer meetup that we're having at Harley Davidson over there in Baton Rouge. Just finding the time, because I work full time. So, it's getting these off, these orders that are placed in the mail. I got to go package them after work every day, get them off, go fill it, because I'm doing all the, currently I'm doing distribution myself, going check on my stores, making sure it gets there. And then you also have to go pitch your product to the grocery store. So I have to find time to do that too.
And then really you got to find out who the owner is and who the contact person is. You gotta
sometimes you have to go a couple of times. But yeah, it's I'd say challenging, but it's also rewarding. Like I said, I have a passion, a drive to succeed, a good work ethic, and that's really what has propelled me in my career to become a professional engineer, my MBA, and I know it's what will make this succeed. You really just have to.
Oh yeah, look, I tell people anytime they are asking me. So there's this phrase, overnight success, and people always ask me, like, how did you grow the page to where it is now, and I tell people, like, look, it was a lot of hard work. It's still a lot of hard work. And I've wanted to quit so many times. Like, from the very first day that I started this, in the first month, I was like, why am I doing this? 2 months down the road, I'm like, why am I wasting my time on this? And then it didn't help whenever I had, employers who would see me working on this page that wasn't generating any money at the time. It was just something fun for me to do, and I was just interested in it, and I was trying to acclimate myself to the area and to learn more about it. I would have, people that would say, you're wasting your time. It's never going to make you any money. And I didn't want to hear any of that crap. I was just like, you know what? I'm just doing this because I like it, and if it becomes something, cool. But even then, things like that have made me want to quit. And then, that was 2012. Here it is, 2024. God, I was about to say 2014. Wow. And I'm still sticking with it. And I haven't quit. There are times where I've taken some long breaks, several days of not posting anything, because, sometimes comment sections get to me. But what do you do to keep the, for lack of better words, keep the faith and to not quit on what you're doing?
Ben, there's always going to be haters online.
Oh, yeah,
you
always.
Do anything.
Yeah.
But you really, if you have something that you believe in, and I know I have a good product and I believe in it, and you just envision success, and you've already succeeded. If you know that you're going to succeed and you go out there and put the work in there, that's all there is to it. You've already made it.
Yeah.
Just
so
keep, I believe in the product. I go and push it, and everybody loves it. If I just keep doing what I'm doing, I've already got to 20 stores, and I'm coming up on 3 months now.
Nice.
I'm about to hit close to 2,000 followers on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's really just hustle. If you hustle, you'll make it.
No, I agree. If you stick with it, honestly, if you don't quit, if you stick with it, because I think that's the problem with a lot of people that want to start something, whether that be a business or a hobby that they, start and, what happens is they romanticize the idea of starting something that they're interested in, and whenever the crap hits the fan, so to speak, whatever that looks like for you, they quit. Like it either gets too tough, or they don't have enough time to spend on it, or some sort of hurdle comes and they'll just stop. And that's a lot of times what prevents people from seeing success in their life, is because they have decided that it wasn't, in a way, it wasn't worth it. Even though it could be worth it if you stuck with it, but it wasn't worth it in the short term because it got too hard. And then, seeing someone who sticks with it for 5, 10, 20 years, and then people realize, oh my God, you've been doing this for how long? And then, you've actually made it something successful. And now all of a sudden people are like, well, how come I can't do that? Well, you can. I mean, you're in a market. Let me just tell you, man, Nicholas, you are in a tough market with seasoning in South Louisiana. And
Yes,
I commend you with taking on this challenge. And I love the branding. I really do. It's bright. It's definitely got the color to pick up, and it's got all the Louisiana kind of flair to it. And I think that was obviously a goal. And you have a very distinctive branding behind it with your character and the fact that it's football related. And I think if you had that professionally engineered part, you really tie it in more. And I think it's going to do well as long as you continue to believe that it'll do well, because it's seasoning. You got to convince people to add another container to their pantry.
That's right,
man.
But like I said, it's a good product. If I just keep pushing, I know it'll do well. This is advice to anyone that wants to start a business. You have to come in to a new startup business knowing you probably won't see money for typically until year 3. There are some outliner companies. Sometimes you make a lot of money your first year. But you have to know it takes a while to build a business to become profitable. And once you become profitable, that's
the part that everybody wants to get to.
A new business just takes time to grow. Like you said, it's like a baby. You gotta let it grow.
Yeah, and babies in the early months, in the early years, babies cry.
You're up at 2 a.m. You're up at 3 a.m. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Every 2 hours, you're messing with it, trying to take care of it. You can't stop thinking about it. You're checking on it because you want to make sure it's still breathing. Look, it's a baby, and then it gets to a point where, after 3 or 4 years, 5 years, it starts to kind of feel like it's getting a little independence. And obviously, you're still in the very early stages with this, and that's definitely a fact. But so what stores? You mentioned stores that you're in now. What stores are you in? You said 20 some odd stores?
Yeah, so I got a list right here. I'll read them off, and I'll let Ben maybe show the camera. So in Lafayette, I'm at Little Veron's, Earl's, Karchner's on Johnson Street, Marcello's Wine Market, Lark's Acadian Village, Sports Sex Supplement Depot. In Carencro, I'm at Champagne's in Carencro. Scott Dusson area is Karchner's and Scott. Champagne's Market in Dusson. Youngsville, Broussard area, I'm at B.O.'s Meat and Grocery and at Chopped Specialty Meats. Rain, I'm in Piggly Wiggly and at Nantes Caves. In Church Point, I'm in Piggly Wiggly over there. In Branch, there's a really cool store called the Postmaster's General Store. I'm over there. Opelousas, Benny's Supermarket. In Henderson, I'm at Louisiana Market Shops at the 115. In Crotch Springs, I'm at Karchner's over there. And I'm also at in Baton Rouge now. I'm at Mathern's Market right on LSU campus. And in New Orleans, I have a store, Royal Praline Company. So
nice.
If you want to kind of show that right there so people can...
So look, I'm going to get it there. I'm centered up a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of scroll up.
It makes a great Christmas gift. So y'all go shop local. Y'all go support some of these stores. They support me, so show them some love back. some groceries or food from those places and pick up a can of LeJeune's Best while you're there.
All right. That's man. So when did you start going into grocery stores?
So actually, the day after I started, the first store that I got into, it was a very special store to me, was Benny's Supermarket in Opelousas.
Well, yeah, clearly, because that's your grandfather's.
Because that's my grandfather's grocery store. So,
is he still living?
No, he passed away in 2019.
Okay.
And so the reason that I wanted to really, to have that as my first store is because that makes 3 generations of my family having products in Benny's Supermarket.
Yeah.
We have my grandfather, Benny, and Mary Neely. Mary, my grandmother had a gift shop there, and Benny started Benny's Supermarket. We have my uncle, Benny Joe. He has a Sports Shack Sup and Depot on Johnson Street. He actually started Sports Shack. It was called Benny Sports Shack in Benny's Supermarket. And then now we have LeJeune's Best Cajun Seasoning on the shelf over there. And as I mentioned, my grandfather, unfortunately, he did pass away in 2019. But he taught me so much growing up. He was a big mentor to me. He taught me that if you always help people and you so his grocery store was built on customer service. He had me in there when I was 13 helping out, and I worked there throughout high school just carrying groceries out. But his store, and it still is today, is built on customer service. How can you offer the best service? How can you help people? And it's 50 years later, his store is still thriving.
Yeah.
So I take my grandfather and all his advice that he's given me in my business or anything that I do, and I want to show y'all. Can you show that picture right there on the screen?
Let's see here.
So that picture right there, if y'all can see it.
Yeah.
I use that picture in everything business. That's my Facebook profile picture, my LinkedIn, and I had to put that on my can because it looks like I'm smiling there. But that's actually at my grandfather's funeral. I just got done carrying his casket, and my sister took that natural picture. And so I cherish that picture. That's my favorite picture. And that picture means a lot, because my grandfather's with me through that. So I just wanted to point that out.
Man, lots of little symbolisms
like I said,
in
there's
there.
Every can has a story to it. And that, my passion, my grandfather, everything's on there. That's what my product is. It's my story, and a very good Cajun seasoning.
Awesome, man. Look, I do appreciate this can. I'm going to definitely give it a whirl. Add it to my collection of different seasonings. I try to be selective. I try not to put too much in my cabinet or my pantry because I'm running out of room. I have a lot of seasoning.
Now that I met all these friends, there's no more room either. But hey, you got to support everybody,
Yep. Yeah, man, I love it. I think it's going to be good for you if you stick with it. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. Before we close out, what does the goal look like for your company? Let's say 10 years from now, like if there's a vision of where you want to see this. Obviously, right now you're just a seasoning can at the moment. Do you envision having any other products that complement this?
So I'll kind of say where I'm at right now. Right now, I have one product. This is an all-purpose Cajun seasoning. I'm currently doing the distribution on my own. The next step is going to be to actually get a distributor that can help me get the product to the store. That'll give me a little bit more time to work on more things. So I have a barbecue recipe that I'm working on, bottling up. That's still in the works. I want to have different products. I do have something when I put my seasoning on a potato, it's something that I trademark called Go-Tatas. So I'd love to get a potato chip brand called Go-Tatas later on down the line.
Yeah.
But like I said, right now I'm really focusing on getting this into people's hands, letting them try it. Next up will be like I said, probably a barbecue. And one day I do envision having many different products, and everybody knows what this orange hat is. That's LeJeune's Best.
There you go. How much is the can?
So it's typically around $5.99 in the stores.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that seems to be the going rate. for
Yeah,
seasonings.
it's a low sodium product, so that's a little bit more costly. They have some of them that sell for around $4.99, but when you get low sodium, you have other quality ingredients in there, and of course
Yeah, you
that
have
raises
more-
the price a little bit. But
Yeah.
$5.99 is a pretty good price for a low sodium
Okay.
blend.
Okay. I should know this, but you seem to be in the business at the moment, so you might have a good idea. What would, under normal use, how long would a can like this last you? Because I have seasoning cans that have lasted me a month. I have seasoning cans that have lasted me 6 months. So what would be the average use case, just in case we have people that never have used seasoning in their life?
But it really depends on what you cook, how much you cook. I can go through a can in less than a month, as much as I cook. Sometimes I go through a can in a week doing all the cooking videos.
Oh, yeah.
But it just depends on what you cook, how much you cook. But probably about a month, I would say, a month to a few months.
There you go.
In someone's shelf. It does have a 3-year store life. It probably lasts even longer than that. You're required to actually put
Right.
a 3-year shelf life, but yeah, like I said, it really just depends on what you're cooking. And
Cool. Well, man, Nicholas, I'm glad you were able to make it on and get to talk about your company and your product. Is there anything that you wanted to mention before we get off that we didn't talk about yet?
I mean, I really just wanted to thank you again for having me on today, Ben. Like I said, this is a great opportunity. I love developing Lafayette. I always, I'm always looking forward to seeing what's new in Lafayette. I'm a really big supporter of Support Local.
Yep.
And as I said, all these stores right here, I appreciate if you go support them. While you're in the store, pick you up some LeJeune's Best. And as Ben mentioned, my Facebook and my Instagram and TikTok at LeJeune's Best. You can search that and you can find it. I really appreciate the social media follow too, because all that helps me out as a small business.
Yeah, there you go. So if you want to go follow them, in the caption, you'll see the Facebook link, the Instagram link, the TikTok link, all that good stuff. Go check him out, and also go get you a can and try it for yourself, or follow him on the social media networks and find where he's at, and maybe you can get a little sample taste before you buy it, because everybody's got to have a sample before they commit to something. That's typically, especially with food, you gotta know that you like it before you buy it. But yeah, man, Nicholas, thank you for coming on, and I appreciate all the good words that you said. I appreciate your follow on the page, and obviously I'm pretty sure I'm following you back. Oh wow!
Yeah, you've been very
personally,
supportive too.
Yeah, personally though, my personal Facebook page, I'm not. So I'm just now doing that. But Developing Lafayette should be following you. If not, I'll definitely make sure it is. But Instagram, I don't think I'm following you on Instagram yet, but that is about to change. Right? No, I'm already following you. Good. Making sure that I'm like covering my bases here, because I have a lot of notifications and everything, and I feel like the way social media works now, I feel like they show you things before you follow it, and it almost feels like you're following it, but you're not following it. Mm-hmm. It's weird. And then
the algorithm knows what you like.
Yeah.
And Facebook's very good, or Instagram, TikTok.
All of them
good
are
at showing you what you like.
All of them have algorithms that are made to keep you on the platform, and that is why it is so dangerous, but we can't get enough of it. TikTok especially. I'll look at a video for a second. I'll stop on it for a second. Even Facebook, I'll stop on a post for a second, and then the next 10 posts, there's at least one post that was from that account that I didn't even follow, didn't like, or nothing, but I stopped for a second to look, and now I'm seeing content from them. So, that's how it works. But anyway, go check out LeJeune's Best, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Nicholas, how did this episode work for you? Do you feel like you were nervous throughout? Did it go the way you thought?
I was a little nervous going in, but honestly, this was an amazing experience. Like I said, I got to talk about LeJeune's Best. I get, a lot of people will find out about it through this podcast. So I think it went amazing.
Yeah, we got a decent amount of listeners and watchers on here, so I think that'll help out a little bit. And then I don't know, maybe one day we'll see something come about where we get to share your business again. But with that, I hope you have great success with it, and I can't wait to try it at home. We actually are going to be probably cooking tomorrow, I think. Cooking this weekend. At least I think we're cooking. I don't know. We're doing something. So I'm going to see if I can use it. And if not, I'm definitely going to taste it. So, but yeah, good luck to you. And I hope to see you grow and be successful.
Thank you so much, Ben.
All right, guys, that is it. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. And that is it.